Good morning and welcome to Thursday morning's adapted yoga class. If you need to adapt anything, if something doesn't feel right, then just wait until I show you the position and then we'll move into the adaptation. If you don't need to adapt it, you carry on, take no notice of me once I've shown you what to do and you can get on with it, and then to each side and then relax. Make sure that you've got enough room around you that you feel physically fit. If you feel sick at any time or anything hurts, then stop. You know your body better than I do, so if something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. So we're going to start with bringing ourselves into mountain pose. You can have your hands down by your side. You can have your hands in prayer. If you feel really good, you can have your hands into a back prayer, pulling the shoulders back. You can bring it into back prayer if you want, but that'll do as well. So I'm going to stay here. So we're closing our eyes. We're making sure that all the muscles that keep us nice and straight are nice and tight. So at the end of the session, we'll do this the opposite way around. We make sure that all the muscles are relaxed. But with standing, we have to make sure that they're all tight to keep us nice and straight. But that the joints in the body, the knees, they're relaxed, they're not locked. Just the muscles that surround them. We're going to think about trying to fill our lungs up little by little. So as we breathe in, we're going to try and fill the bottom of the lung. Then hold it for a second and then again breathe in and fill the middle part of the lungs. Hold it again, and then when you're ready, just breathe in to fill the last bit of the lungs. And then we're breathing all the way back out through the nose if you can. What you'll notice is if you've pulled your abdominals in, when you try to breathe into the bottom, it's restricted. So you can let go of the abdominals but still keep the pelvic floor lifted. So we're going to stay nice and relaxed. We can take our arms down by our side. We're going to use our chin as like a chicken. You're going to push it forward, drop it down, and then roll it back up so that you can feel the neck working. So again, we're pushing it forward, we're dropping it down, we're rolling the neck back up. That we feel it straighten out. Let's push it forward and drop it and roll it. Let's do two more. And one more. And bring it back up. So we're going to move our head very gently as if we're like one of them nodding dogs in the back of the car. We're just kind of letting the head side to side, just little movements. and then we're bringing it back to centre. So then we're just going to make again a little movement, a sort of a no. So not all the way around, just a tiny little movement. You'll still feel all them muscles pulling in the neck. You may even feel them pulling more. And then bring it back to centre. So from here, we're just going to lift the shoulders up, pull them back so that we feel the shoulder blades coming together, pull them down so we feel the shoulder blades and the muscles move down, and then pull them in towards each other. So we're really focusing on this area around here, all the way down here. So again, we're lifting up, we're pulling towards each other at the back. We're dropping them down. We're pulling it forward. Let's do another one this way. Up. And back. And down. And back to centre. So let's take it the other way. So let's bring it forward. And our shoulders roll in, our hands almost go to face, the palms face the front, so the whole shoulders roll round. We're lifting it up. We're rolling it back. And our hands then turn to come to the front. We pull it down. We bring it forward. And again, as you go forward, roll them shoulders forward as well. Lift it up, roll it back, roll them hands as well, bring it down. Let's do one more, rolling it forward, lifting it up, rolling it backwards. Taking it down and bring it to natural. So it should feel the difference between forwards and backwards, and natural should feel nice. It should feel like there's no stretch anywhere in the body. So, where am I going? Oh, yes. We're going to take it into the side, but we're going to put our hands on our rib cage to the side. Now you can have your hands here, or you can have your hands like that. It's whatever makes it easier for you. It doesn't really matter. We're going to tuck our chin in, and we're going to reach to the side. And what I want you to do is I want you to feel underneath your hands how the rib cage starts to open here and how it kind of moves together on this side. I want you to think about the breath pushing into that top lung, and as you breathe out, it kind of escapes through the bottom lung. And then we're going to bring ourselves back up. And we're going to try it on the other side. So breathing out, reaching over. So if you wanted, you could try changing the direction of the breath and try and breathe into that bottom lung and try and breathe out through the top lung and see if that's easier or different or not. And that's the whole idea, is anything that we're doing, as well as working on everything else, we just want to just take a minute and just see if everything works the same. Try something different. If I say something and you think, oh, well, let me try the opposite. As long as you know you're trying the opposite and you're conscious about what you're doing, do it slowly, but it just gives you another perspective on what you're doing. So let's bring it back up. So we can take our arms down. Now we kind of know what's happening there. We can, if we want to, we can lift the arms up. We can keep them here, we can bring them here. We can lift them up, depending on what your shoulder wants to do. I'm going to keep mine there, And again, your blood pressure depends on where you put your arms. Here's fine for blood pressure problems. So we're going to breathe out and reach over. Breathe in to bring it back up. Breathe out to take it over the other side. Thinking about what we were just doing, what was happening with that ribs. Breathing in to come back up. Breathing out. As we're breathing out through that side. As we're breathing in, we're breathing into this side and it'll pull us back up. Like an accordion, moving up and down. So again, let's breathe out to the other side. Use the breath out through that lung to pull us down. Breathe into the other side and let it bring us back up. Bring the arms down. Lovely. So let's do the same thing but with a twist this time. So again, placing our hands anywhere. So again, if that's too much, you can always go to that version. So from here, we're twisting to the side and we want to feel that twist. And what happens in the lungs, in the ribs. Think about the breathing. So if we're turning towards our right, then we should be breathing into the front of our left lung and the back of our right lung. Does that happen naturally? And what happens to the rib cage? If we're breathing into one side, we're breathing out the opposite. And then let's bring it back to centre. So let's try it the other way round. So taking it round to the side. So breathing into one area, breathing out through the other. Or changing. And then bringing it back to centre. Lovely. So bringing our arms out. So thumbs up. Make sure you've got enough room. So using the breathing. Breathe out. As you're breathing in, the opposite lung part of the lungs work to bring you back round. Breathe out. Breathing in. Last one. Breathe out. And bring it down. So let's take it into a forward bend. So this time again, instead of having your hands there, I'm just going to get you to think about what's happening here. So you can bend the knees and let yourself just drop down. Now if you've got blood pressure problems, don't go all the way, keep that head in line, don't let the head drop down. If you haven't got blood pressure problems, you can let the head drop. So I'm staying with my head lifted in case people have got blood pressure problems. So now we're thinking about the back. We're breathing into the back and we're breathing out of the front of the body, the front of the chest. As you breathe into the back, can you feel it more into the back? Can you feel it pulling through the lower part of the spine? Can you feel the rib cage opening? As you breathe out, does it make a hollow so that you feel like you want to fall or snuggle down a little bit further? Remember, you can keep them knees bent. You can straighten them if you feel that it's not too much on your back, or you can try one at a time. It's up to you. So we're going to bend the knees, and if your head's dropped, you're going to look up and bring yourself half up. And then you're going to use your bum muscles to push you back up. So let's try that one more time. We're going to bend the knees, breathing out, bringing ourselves down. Dropping the head if you want, keeping it up if you need to. Now even with back you'll find that the spine's nice and straight. So with this, we were doing it back, breathing into the back and out through the chest. You could always change it. Breathe into the stomach and out of the back. You'll feel the body massaging against the leg. It might even feel like it's picking up the rib cage at the back as you're breathing out of it and dropping it down. So we're going to bring ourselves back to looking forward and using our bum to push us up. Lovely. So sometimes it's quite nice to change the way I'm saying it. Change it around. Have a feel. If it works for you, and it works for you, that's better. So we're going to take it into a back bend. So again, we're going to do them breathing. Now, if you feel you need to, come back out of it. And it's for our back. It's not for our head. So you don't need to throw your head back. There should be no pain here. No pain here. You just keep the chin tucked in. We're placing our hands on our hips. That'll help to keep us up from sliding back too far, but remember you can take it away. We're going to tilt the hips forward, so we've already started that bend. We're pulling our shoulder blades together. That's again increasing that bend. And then we're tucking the chin in. Now from here, you're going to breathe into the chest and feel the front of the ribs open and breathe out through the back of the body. And then we're going to breathe out to come back up. So we'll try that one more time. The hips go forward first, so from neutral back, we're tilting them under. We're pulling the shoulders back, that'll help to start the stretch up. Tuck the chin in, breathe into the chest. You can always push them hips forward a bit more. You can always pull them elbows back a little bit more. Sorry about that. Okay, where are we? Completely messed, yeah. Okay. So, we're going to bring ourselves into our inner thighs. So if we take our feet slightly wide, I'm going to bring it down so that you can see my legs. Totally throw me off my mojo. So, we'll take our feet slightly wider, keeping our toes pointed in, keeping our back straight. We're just bending one knee and then the other knee, going side to side. You'll feel this into the ankles, you'll feel it into the inner thighs. And then bringing it back to centre. So we're going to do a similar one from, if you need to hold on to a chair or to a wall, you can. You're going to bring the knee up at the front, bending it up, and then you're going to bend it and push it up to the back. You're bending it up to the front and into the back. Up at the front, into the back. and then we're going to change sides. So again, flexing up, pull it up, and kick it back. Pull it up, and kick it back. And bring it down. So you can stick your bum against the wall, you can sit down on a chair to do this. You're taking your foot down, you're placing the other foot up on top into a figure four and sitting down into an imaginary chair. So like I said, if you need to, you can hold onto a wall and do it against the wall. You can do it on the chair. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you don't feel strong enough to hold it. She said and falls over. And then changing sides. And let's change last one. And bring it back up. Give your legs a little shake. So we're going to go through sun salutation. I'm going to do it from the floor. I'm not using the chair, but I'm just going to make it slightly easier by bringing my knees down. So we're going to bring ourselves into mountain pose, bringing our feet in line with our hips, bringing our hands together in prayer, pulling all our muscles in, pulling our pelvic floor, pulling our abdominals, push our hands together, close our eyes. Breathe into any part of the chest you can, but still pulling in that abdominal. Think about what you want. Think about you. So we're going to breathe in and lift our arms up, or as high as we can. If you've got blood pressure, reaching back. Breathe out, bend the knees to bring the hands down to the floor. Again, let your head drop if you haven't got blood pressure problems, or keep it looking forward if you have. We're going to take it to a half bend. So we're going to straighten the legs. Even if the hands come off the floor, that's fine. Pull the belly in, pull the shoulders back, tuck the chin in. Try and get that nice straight back. We're bending the knees and we're going to step back with our right foot. We can drop our hips to the floor. You can stay here, or you can take it to the next option or to the other option. We're bringing the hands back down. We're bringing our knee back. We're bringing ourselves up into down dog, making sure that we're pushing with our fingertips, we're making arches, we're pushing our heels, even if it's one at a time, towards the floor. We're coming up onto our tiptoes and we're rolling forward. If you need to, you bring them knees down. Turn the elbows to face the front. You don't want them facing each other, you want them facing forward. Bend the elbows. Bring the chest down, let the hips drop, roll the shoulders back, lift into Sphinx. Take the chest down, slide the arms back underneath, tuck the toes, lift back into down dog. We're going to lift the left leg up in the air and look forward, step the foot forward. If it doesn't go very far, we bring that knee down, we lift it, we're dropping our hips again, we're lifting up or staying down. It's completely up to you, you can stay here. We're going to push back and big step, bring the feet in, still with a bent knee, stretch the arms, breathe in, lift up. Breathe out, take it down. Breathe in, lift up. Breathe out, step back. Good. Lovely. Breathe out, bring it back up. Breathe in, come up to your tiptoes. Breathe out, come down. Breathe in. Lift up. Make sure them shoulders aren't leg. Breathe out. Bring it forward. Breathe in. If you can lift, lift. If not, don't worry. Breathe out. Step in. And breathe in. Lift up. Stretch back. Lovely. So we're going to take it into straight leg triangle. So if you've got a block, you may want a block. If you've got a chair, you may want a chair. Just depends on how far you want to go. And if you've got any problems with your back. So I'm going to bring the camera up so you can see my arms. So, with this, you can have your arms here, and then when we go forward, you can have the arms up in the air. Or you can have the thumb behind the back. And then when we're moving, what you do is you pull that back. And if you've got lower back problems, you'll be able to see under the hand, this is where there's usually going to be any pain. So if you start to move and you feel any twinges, you stop. When you take the hand out, the little finger will be up and you'll have to roll the shoulder back to lift up. And again, you can keep it in line with the shoulder. If you can bring it all the way up to the head, brilliant. But if it starts coming up to the head, now that it comes up, it starts rolling and ends up here, then take it back to where it was here and it's straight. Always think about what's happening with the shoulders and into that back. So all them things we were doing earlier, bringing the muscles down, it's the same thing. You want to feel that shoulder blade come in and come down so that it's working in the right position and it opens the chest out. Now I'm bringing it down to my feet. That's why, because you won't see my hands now on Zoom. You will on Instagram, will be looking thinking, I can see your hands all the time, Mari. Now, it just depends on how far you want to go down. You can come down to a chair or you can come down to a block. But what you don't want is to roll forward. You want to make sure that you can keep yourself nice and straight. And there's no, or you can come to even your leg if you don't want a chair as well. But there's no worries about how far you're going. I'm going to stay with the chair. So, we're taking our feet wide. Everybody's different. Some people prefer a narrow stance, some people prefer a wide stance. I prefer a wide stance. We are doing straight leg, yes we are. But you'll feel it, if it's too much, if there's a pinchy in here, in this area of the joint, the hip, it starts to really pinch. Try it with a shorter leg, it might be easier. And you might not get that. But again, Listen to your joints, not what I say. So we're taking the foot out, but we don't want, as we turn that foot out, that hip to go. We need that hip to pull back. We need them to stay in line. We need the knees to be relaxed. We don't want them locked. We need them to be able to bend slightly if they need to, but we want them straight. We don't want them bent, we want them straight. We want to engage all the muscles. So now as we do at the front, if we lift, we start to tighten up all these muscles. When we do this, all the muscles kind of move. So now the inside muscle is now at the front muscle is now at the side, the back muscle, the side muscle is now at the back, so everything kind of moves around, but it's still the same muscle. So if you lift your toes, that muscle here will lift. If you imagine squeezing your legs together, this muscle here and this muscle here will move towards each other. Everything will do exactly the same. So, but we're going to try and keep that in line. We're going to try and pull in our pelvic floor, so at the back and at the front, but not our abdominal. Otherwise, when we try to bend, it's too tight, we won't be able to go. So we want to leave that out. Even if we have big belly, it doesn't matter, nobody's looking. So, taking the hands out in line with the body, unless you need to take them behind. I'm going to take mine behind. Breathe out, reach over as if there's something just out of your grasp, and then breathe out again, bring your hand down. Place it anywhere, block, chair, knee. Twist the upper body so that you're looking up towards the ceiling. And hold it there. Imagine I'm standing behind you and I'm grabbing your back hip and I'm pulling it backwards. I'm also grabbing your shoulder and I'm pulling your shoulder backwards. If you can, you're looking up towards the ceiling. But if that hurts your neck too much, you can look forward or even down. So now we're going to lift back up. Taking the hands down, lifting the foot, bringing it back in. So we can move our block to the other side. I'll do the block on this side, just because I can't bother to move the chair. I'll do chair on one side, block on the other. So, we're taking our arms out in line with our shoulders if we want to, or behind our back if we've got problems with our back. We're breathing out, we're reaching over. We're breathing in, and as we breathe out again, we're bringing our hands down to the chair, to the block, anywhere it can go. We're rotating our arm back, and our hip back, and our shoulder back, to look up towards the ceiling. We're making sure that their knees are not locked. They can still move, but we're holding them as straight as possible. We're still using all them muscles in the leg. We're still tightening them all up. So now we're going to lift and bring ourselves back out. Bring our foot back in. So let's try that one more time. And I'm going to lift my hand for this one. So, we're turning the foot out. We're reaching the body over. We're taking the hand down, lifting the arm up in the air. If we can, as we breathe in, we're going to try and bring the hand towards the ear. So the thumb's coming down. Lovely. Oh, that's perfect. Beautiful shape there. And then we're bringing that hand back up to the centre. And then pulling up, lifting, bringing ourselves out. Hands come down, toe lifts in. Let's change sides. So turning the foot out, taking the hands up, reaching forward, and then taking the hand down. Roll the shoulder back, roll the hip back. Make sure all them muscles in the legs are working. If you feel you can, as you're breathing in, bring that arm towards the ear. Remember, you don't have to. Lovely. We're going to breathe, bring the arm back to the center. And breathe in, lift. Breathe out, bring everything in. Bring the legs in, give them a little shake. We're going to take it into a seal, pose of a seal. Now you can have the block or you can have the chair. It's completely up to you. So I'll bring that in. Now with this, again, depending on your blood pressure, you can have your arms up in the air, and as you come down, you'll have it in this kind of position so that it continues all the way down to either the chair or to your leg or to the floor. Okay, so it'll be up there. If you can't manage that, then it'll be in line with your shoulders, or even down here, and you can move your hands down slowly. Again, with your blood pressure, try and keep your head above your thing. So if you're going down too far, don't go all the way down here. Stay about here so that your blood's always in line. And if you've got back problems, again, stay in this position with the head lifted. It'll keep that part of your spine. It saves you from going over. We want to keep it off. So I'm going to drop the camera. So this is more it's a triangle pose. So we're going to step 1 foot forward. We're taking our arms to wherever we want, above the head or in line or down. So I'm going to keep mine here for now. We're keeping the chin tucked in and we're breathing out. We're reaching down. Now you can bring it to the chair, or you can bring it to your leg. You can bring it to the floor or to a block in front. It doesn't matter. Depending on your blood pressure, you can let that head drop. Or you can just let yourself relax down. And if you're on the chair, just let yourself drop here. You want to try and keep the legs straight again so that we're working the backs of them knees. So we're going to again bring ourselves up by, if we're on the chair, we can push, or you can lift the arms up and out. Oh, I'm going to get you to bend your knee coming back up on that one if you're on the floor. Sorry, I should have said that. So let's change sides. So again, lifting the arms up or out. You're reaching out. You're bringing your body down. The hips should be nice and straight. Both feet should be facing forward. It doesn't matter where you're going, as long as that leg, try and get that leg nice and straight. Even if you have to bring the block on the inside of the foot to make it a little bit easier. If you feel you can get down a bit more. So we're going to bend the knees, take the arms back up and lift up. Bring the arms down. That was much nicer getting up. So let's change legs one last time. So stepping the foot forward. Taking the arms above the head, in line with the shoulders, down here. Reaching forward. Bringing the hands down. Trying to make sure that them hips are straight, they're not turning to the side. So we're going to bend the knees, lift the arms, lift up. Bring the arms down. Last one. So remember, if you've got back trouble, don't lift them arms, just come back up again with your hands down. Last one. Reaching up. Reaching out. Taking it down. Bend the knees, lift up. Take the arms back down. So we're going to take it into a Krishna stretch. So again, let me just bring that up. Now with this, you're going to grab hold of your wrist and you're pulling over as you step that leg behind the other. And then you're pulling and reaching over. You can turn and look up to the ceiling. You can look forward, you can look down. I'm going to change the thing so again you can see my feet. So with the feet, we're stepping round. So if it's that hand that we're grabbing hold of and pulling, it's the same foot we're stepping behind. So we're going to step that foot behind. This hand is going up. And we're going to grab hold of the wrist with the other hand. We're pulling the wrist over to the side. We're pushing our hip over to the other side. We can look up or we can look down. It doesn't matter where you're going, but you'll feel that stretch right through the side of the body. And then bringing it back up, bring your hand down. Now if you've got, sorry I should have said if you've got high blood pressure you don't, or your shoulders doesn't go up that far, you can just do the bottom part, you don't have to do the top part. So let's change sides. So with that you could just switch to the side and bring your hand down, you don't have to lift up. But if you want to lift up, we'll take it up and push the hip to the side. Pull the hand over, look up. And then bring it back up. Take the hands down, step that foot from behind. So we'll do one more on each side. Just seeing if you can move that foot a little bit wider. We're taking the hand up again, if you can, and we're pushing to the side. And bring it up, hands come down, change sides, last one. So the hand comes up, we're grabbing hold, we're pulling the arm, we're pushing the hip. and bringing it back out. Step the foot back around. Lovely. Oh. So I'm going to bring us to the floor. Now, if you've got knee problems, then make sure that you have your pillow close by. If it's one knee, then you'll go, if it's two knees, you're going to bring yourself down to the floor like that. And the same when you're bringing yourself back out. If you can't get to the floor, then either watch or and then come and do my Tuesday morning class, which is the chair. If it's one knee, then if it's your bad knee, take your good knee down, roll your bum down, and when you're coming back out, back the same way that you've just come down. Okay? Now, I will change this so that if you have got bad knees, that I'm not keeping you on your knees too long. If you're just thinking, oh, I haven't got bad knees, it's just that the floor's a bit painful, then always put padding onto your knees if it's too much. But if you feel like, no, I've definitely, my knees are, I can't go on my knees, then I will show you an alternative. So, our first one is going to be gate pose. Now, gate pose is up on the knee. You're bringing your foot out, you're turning the toe up, you're placing the foot down. Now, with this, it doesn't matter if you have to bend your knee to get the foot down. You're going to, again, if you don't want to take your arm all the way up and over your head, you can take the hand behind your back and slide down, pulling yourself back. If you can't go onto your knee, so you carry on, Glenys, you carry on into whichever version of it you want, 3 breaths and then change sides. So if you definitely can't go onto your knees, you can bring yourself down, take that leg out of the way and just go over to the side. So now with gate pose, we'd either have it that way, so you're coming out, but again, knee problems, don't worry about that. So we're going to change sides. So again, you'd either just go to the other side, but I'm going to come up into gate pose. So the foot comes up, the toe goes out, the foot goes flat down. We can lift the arm up and over. Always just be aware of your own body, what it can and can't do. And then lifting back up. So bringing it in. Now, if you wanted to make this a little bit harder, Glenys, then we'd go to the same thing. We take it down. I'll do it that way. Take it down, bring that foot out, bring that foot behind. So we're going into a gate pose, but a seated, a lower down gate pose. Exactly the same as if we were up on the knee. And again, we're reaching over. And then let's bring it up. And then we're going to change that. Does that feel okay? That feel okay? Yeah. So change side. So again, this is adapted up rather than down. So remember, if I've adapted you down and just put your legs out, stay with that. If you don't want to come into this, stay with your knee up. So here we go, last one. Breathe out, reach over. We're still trying to look through the arm. We can still use the hand at the back if we feel that we're rolling and it'll keep us pulling back. So it's any version that you want, but you just don't want to roll into it. And then breathing in to bring it back up. So we're going into camel pose, and again, if you need to, put your knees on something. You can bring your toes up. You can always put a block if it's too far. You can always bring it onto a chair if it's still too high. You can always take it just to this position here. And again, if you can't go onto your knees, then you can take it down onto the floor and push up in that direction. Still very similar, just working from a different direction. So it's up to you, whichever one you want to go into. But we'll have a little bit of a sway with it. So we'll do one side then the other. So if you put your block or put your chair wherever you want onto one side. We're going to bring our hand down, lift the other hand round. So bring ourselves down here, bring our hand round towards it. We're going to lift our hip, push forward and lift our arm up. Then breathe out and bring yourself back down. Now if you're doing bridge, you're just lifting up into bridge. For us, we're lifting and we're pushing up. And we're breathing out and bringing it down. And we're going to do one more on this side. Breathe in, lift. And breathe out, bring it down. So let's move that block round to the other side. And again, we're going to lift the arm up, breathing in, pushing the hips forward. Breathing out, bringing it down. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. Bringing it back down. Lovely. So I'm going to take it into our last one, kind of on that time. And we're going, if you've got a wall, brilliant, but don't worry if you haven't, you can just do this one in the air as well. We're lying ourselves down and we're bringing our feet in the air. I'm going to spin round so that you see this to see what my feet are doing. If you've got a wall, you can always put your legs up the wall as well. So if you need to, you can. With this, I've got my legs away from the wall. We're going to take our legs out to the side, turn the soles of the feet down, bring them up, cross them, bring them down. Bring them up, cross them, bring them down. So we're pointing and flexing the toes. We're pointing here, we're flexing here. Pointing here, flexing here. And if you've got a nice wall, you can do this against the wall. But if I do it, I'll rip my curtain. Then we're going to bring them up. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together and bring it down. And again, it can be against the wall, it doesn't have to be against the wall. You're going to use your elbows. So if you can grab hold of your ankles or anywhere around here, and then your elbows are about your knees, and kind of just give a little push. Trying to open them hips. So then we're going to bring them together and lift them back up. Now we're going to bring one foot down and place it on top of the knee and just push the knee out. Not with our hands, just with the hip. Then if you want to lean against anything, you can. You don't have to. and then bring it back up and change sides. Bring it back up. Now see if you can cross the legs over and bring it into eagle. And cross the legs over and bring it into eagle. Let's do one more on each side. And then bring the knees down, pull them in towards you. Now if you've got a wall, you can stay with your feet at the wall, or if you haven't, if you're not against the wall, then spin round, bring your feet down. Remember when you go down to relax down, you will get cold. Put something over the top of you. Even if your house is central heated, it's lovely and warm, it won't be in a minute. If you want to, you can have your legs bent, but in line with your hips, and then just take them out and let the knees come together. That way they won't end up doing this and you end up hurt there. So have them there. If you find especially that your lower back, if you straighten your leg, you get a really big arch in your back and it's really painful, then bend the knees, tilt the pelvis down, lessen that arch. Make sure that you tuck your head in as well, that you're not sticking your chin up in the air. Or you can bring yourself, if you find that you can, into corpse pose. Now this is never, people always think, oh, lying flat is lovely. It can be really painful on your sciatic nerve and also your lower back. So you may want to turn onto your side, and you may use something like a cushion under your head, and then bring your top leg over and place it on a block. You can let your hands sit there. This way your chest and your back is free to breathe, and this is normally the kind of position most people sleep in, so it's quite a nice position to relax in. Or you can turn the whole way over and go onto the front of your belly, turning your palms over, letting your shoulders roll in and roll down, let your head drop down. Whichever side you put your head to first is the side that you always go to. So you want to make sure that whichever side your head goes down to, start off by turning it in the opposite direction. And then after this starts hurting for too long, you can change sides. But with this version, your whole of your back is free to breathe. Your side ribs are free to breathe. And so it makes you breathe more so into the back of your body. And at the moment, this is what they're telling people with about corona, that people are not breathing into the right part of their lungs. They're not breathing into the big part, which is at the back of the body. So it's a great way to focus on the back of that body. So choose a position that suits you. But we're still going to start with that same breathing, filling the jug. So no matter which position you're in, you're breathing out to start off, and then you're filling the lower part of the lungs. Hold it for a second or two. Then breathe into the next middle part of the lungs. Hold it for a second or two, then breathe in right to the top of the lungs. And it'll feel like it's opening the shoulder blades and opening the neck. Hold it for a second or two before you breathe all the way back out. Now what's happening with that time while you're holding it is that you should feel the air circulate around the body, so it goes into all them areas where we kind of missed. And if you're really still, really quiet, really think about what's happening there, you'll feel it.
we're going to start to think about coming out of our movement. So if you're lying on your back or wherever you are, you can start to move your fingers, the toes, move the wrists and the ankles, the elbows, the shoulders and the hips, and the neck and the head. Any kind of little movement you can do. Now, if you're lying on your back, you're pulling your knees up to your chest. If you're lying on your chest, you're going to push back into child. And if you're lying on your side, you're just going to stay where you are. So, taking yourself to wherever you have to go. Just holding yourself here. You can move a little bit if you're with your legs up by your chest or you're in child. If you're on your back, you can roll over onto your side and bring yourself up to seated. If you're in child, you're rolling yourself up into hero. And if you're on your side, you bring yourself up to seated. So they're just different ways of relaxing. That you don't necessarily just have to go into corpse pose. Go into a position that's more relaxing for you, because corpse pose for a lot of people isn't very relaxing. And also lying on your back, again, encourages you to breathe more into your chest. We want you to breathe more into the back of the body. So side breathing and lying on your belly actually encourages you to use the more of the lungs. So thank you for joining me today. I'm going to have to run, and I mean run. So take care and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.